Number 9. So 15, let's zoom in here a little bit, make it a little bigger. So 15m cubed plus 25m squared plus 30m all over. And is this the right one? We're good? Yeah. So what's it asking us to do? It says divide. Okay, so what is the first thing you did, Sarah? What did you do first?
In that fridge.
Yeah, you put it in the form that we were working with yesterday.
Yeah.
And what was the phrase? What was that phrase? Leading over leading, exactly. Leading over leading. So in this case, what's the leading term underneath that nifty division sign?
15m.
So there's our first leading. So we have 15m cubed. And the other leading stays the same the entire time. What's the second leading term? 5m cubed. You divide, and what do you end up with?
3.
You just end up with 3. So you put the 3 maybe over here, and then you have to do what? Multiply. Yes.
Why do you put the 3 way over there?
Because you want to put the number above the thing it correlates to. What's the power of m right here? 0. There is no m. It's m to the 0. So if it was 3m, we'd put it above the 30m. If it was 3m squared, I'd put it over the 25m squared. If it was, it's like the digits. It's like the hundreds if there were hundreds and tens and singles. So units. So 3 times 5m cubed is going to be what?
So 3 wouldn't necessarily be the first.
3 times 15m cubed. Just we can go to that in a second. 15m cubed. Now, theoretically, if we've done everything right, are we supposed to end up with the same thing right there?
Yes.
Because we want to subtract and have what happen?
0 equals 0.
We want. Let's get a. Can I buy a verb? You want it to. You want it to cancel. You want it to become 0. Exactly. So we have 0, and now what do I drop down, Gabby, Monaco? 25m squared. Now, how do you know you need to stop at this point? Someone who hasn't spoken yet. How do you know you need to stop, Chris?
When you have when the variable, or in this case m squared is smaller than m.
Not m. The what of the
exponent.
Yeah, the exponent of the power, right. So the power up here is 3. The power we have right now is 2. So at this point, what do? We stop. The key thing to do right now, though, is to be able to write out the final answer. So this, and then you'd also have to bring down, in addition to that 25, what else would you have to bring down at this point?
30m.
The 30m. That's still there. You need to write the final answer, though. Who can tell me what the final answer is going to be based on these numbers right here? Gabby.
Is it 3 times 25m squared plus 30m?
Close. Those are the right pieces. Chris, 3.
I think it's 3 over 5m cubed.
Nope.
3 over 25m squared plus 30m.
Okay, so what we have right now is the original question, which is this one right here. We now know that this is equal to, I'll start you off, 3 plus something. 3 plus
25m squared.
25m squared plus 30m over what? 5m to the third. 5m to the third. The 3 is there by itself, and then it's the remainder.
Oh, that you put over.
Remember, we did that a bunch last class?
Wait, so that's
Okay, hold on. Let's go back to the safety of regular numbers. If we had 12 into, let's say, 2,692, 12 goes into 26 how many times, Meg?
At least 3. Well,
What's 12 times 2?
24.
Can it go in? So how many times does 12 go into 26 without going over?
2.
So 2, and then you multiply 2 times 12 is, and I can't write, I just wrote a 14, 24. What's the next step we do? We subtract. And remember how I like you to put in those parentheses? Not minus signs on both sides. What's left? 2. Drop down what, Meg? 9. 12 goes into 29 how many times? 2. So 2 times that against 24. We end up with, the subtraction is 5. 12 goes into 52 how many times? How many times?
5.
12 times 5 is 60.
Oh,
4 times. 4 times 12 is? 48. Now we subtract, and how do we know we're done at this point?
Because that number is smaller than the number that you're providing.
Correct. 12 is smaller. 4 is smaller than 12. So this tells us that 2,692 divided by 12 is equal to 224 plus 4 over what? 12. Does 12 divide evenly into 2,692? It does not. There is a remainder of 4, but if you're going to write it out as the final answer, this is what you'd write out. Similarly, what did we end up with over here down at the bottom? We ended up with this thing, right? Our quotient was 3. and then we took and ended up with the remainder right here, but then it has to be over the 5m squared, the divisor. It has to be over that. What happens if we come out with 0 right there? What does that mean about the division?
It evens out.
It divides evenly, correct. You could factor it nicely. You could factor it nicely. Chris, first thing I always check, did you write it down correctly? 4n, good, okay, we're good, I think we're good. So what's that first step that you have to redo, or what do you have to do first?
Leaving over the, oh wait, no.
We have to make it in the right form first. Make it into the right form first. So 14m squared n cubed into what?
4m
4m
squared n squared minus 21mn cubed plus 18mn squared.
Plus 18mn squared. Exactly. Nice. Okay. So what did I ask you to do first?
Well, I don't know where to go because that's not divisible.
Gabby, what's the phrase that I had you say over and over and over again last class?
Leading.
So you always try to start with that, and then if you hit a wall, then you can reevaluate where you're going. But you must remember what that phrase is. If it helps you, you can write it down right at the top if you wanted to. So you have 4m squared n squared over what?
14m squared n
Cubed. So if you actually do this out, and you simplify this, there's something that cancels, right? What's the one thing that cancels? The m's. Good job. Emphatically said there, Meg. That was good. It's gone. That's nice. The 4 becomes a 2. This becomes a 7. But then what do you run into now?
The ends don't cancel.
This cancels, and you're left with what on the bottom?
N.
So if you do this out, you end up with 2 over what?
7n.
7n. Now here, what did I say up above? Why did we stop here? Why did we stop at this point?
Because the
Power
power is less than the
Power
divided
here,
by.
right? So in this case, what's the power here?
Nothing.
No, I just circled it. What's that number I circled?
Cubed.
That power's 3. What's the power here? 2. So what is that? Which one's bigger?
The 3.
The 3 is bigger than
The 2.
the 2. So what's the answer to this one?
2 over 7n plus,
Nope. Again, why did we stop
The
here?
answer is just that.
The whole
The-
thing.
Yes, the answer is the original statement. There is no division for us to do because you don't go anywhere because the powers that are presented to you are not set up in such a way for you to go any further. That's why. No more questions yet. No more questions yet.
It's
This
a
is-
good, it's a good one.
I understand. We're going to pause for a second to make sure people understand this part. Does everybody understand why we don't go anywhere on this?
Yes.
Why do you stop? Again, why did we stop here? The what?
the
Power.
is higher than
The power of the divisor is higher than
the one in the dividend.
the one in the dividend. Exactly. So if we start off that way, can we go anywhere? No. No, we can't. No, we can't. So not with polynomial long division. Yes.
And what if it was divisible?
If you go further from this, I said focus on just this piece. If you focus on just that piece, you'll figure out that it is s plus t times what? S plus t. You have the same thing times itself. So what? How do you write that?
S plus
That's
t
t
squared.
S plus t squared. Not on the inside, on the outside, right? Like this?
Yeah.
But what do we still have here? We have 4r squared. What's another way for you to write 4r squared,
2r.
David?
2r squared.
Quantity 2r squared. And now you have the difference of what? You have the difference. You have the difference of 2 squares. The difference of 2 squares. So what is that going to turn into? Remember this. A squared minus b squared is equal to what? A plus b. Stop saying c. A minus b. A squared minus b squared. So in this case, what's a? In this case, what's a?
2r.
So what do you have here? 2r and 2r. And you have plus something and minus something. What's b? So you have s plus t right here. And what do you have over here? S plus t right there. So can you simplify this a little bit? So it's going to be 2r plus s plus t times what? 2r minus s minus t. This would be the final answer. This is by far the hardest type of factoring that you will do on the upcoming test. No, this exact question is not on the test. Yes.
Is it okay if you...
Couple variables right here. We have an a cubed. We also have some 2's in there. Looks like there's something going on pretty interesting. Something at least. Did anybody, what do you see when you look at this? I see squares and so hold on. So Gabby Record just came up with something really good here, which is you can reorder these, right? You could take this and make it minus ab squared, And then you have plus 2a squared minus 2b squared. Is that what you meant right there?
Yeah, and then you would have the.
So now what can you factor out of the first two? Can someone tell me what I could factor out of the first two? There's only, I could factor out an a. You have a times a squared minus b squared plus, and what can you factor out of the other two?
The
2 times
a squared minus
b squared. What method is this called, Sarah? What
Um,
method? What's the name? What did we just do? We factored by something. What's it called? David, what's it called?
Commutative property.
We used the commutative property to rearrange it, but then this is we factored by grouping, everybody. This was by grouping, but we're not done yet. We have two of the same thing in both cases. We have an a squared minus b squared. So what does this become, Hannah?
A plus 2.
A plus 2 times,
A squared minus b squared.
and at this point, we'll get to questions in a second. Both of those purple things come together into this one purple. And where do the a and 2's come from? They come from the coefficients right there. There's the a and there's the 2. This is the key thing to realize. We are not done. First of all, some of you are stopping here. You get the beautiful thing, which is the same, but then you don't go to the next step. But we're not done here, because what can you do with this, Chris?
You can, it's difference of
That is difference of squares. So what does it turn into?
a plus b and a minus b.
Yeah, so a plus b times a minus b. Now, is this done?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wait, what? Can you go up a little bit?
You could go up on your notebook, but yeah, go ahead.